All right, the time has come. We put everything together. Rig's all built, assembled, ready to give it its first test. I'm pretty excited. I got up early this morning, set everything up, got everything I needed to do done. I think it's like about 9 a.m. and we're gonna start going on this. Got everything fueled up, connected, got my pits filled with water. We'll get everything flowing and then I'll add in bentonite fluid as we go. I'm just gonna see if I can do a 10-foot run, make sure everything's working good, and if it's cruising, we'll just keep going and I'll keep filming it and updating along the way. So yeah, let's just dive into it and see what happens. As I thought, that sprays. Okay, we'll have to put a skirt on that. All right, so we had a little spray skirt up there. At least that's redirecting all the spray through the bearings down. It was overflowing, so made a little berm. Now I'm just adding some more water. How's it going? Okay. Well, the drilling didn't quite go to plan today, but we were hitting lots of rocks and just bouncing around and chewing up. But everything held together pretty good, and look at this. The tricone's freed up, so that's pretty nice. Just going to consider moving the rig or putting some more power on it. So this is our best one, I think. I mean, I came over here, drilled down, just barely like tiny little rocks. Those are manageable. On either side of this, it seems like there's sand. So these ones were going okay too. Well, actually, this one's screwed down real nice and quick and easy too. So maybe we move it over here and try this first. Could probably get this rigged up here pretty easily. All I have to do is tilt that, move it over here. Well, if that's our hole, we got to make a trench all the way over to these pits. Oh, more challenge, more challenge. All right, well, let's see what we can do. Maybe I'll see if I can set it up on this one or over there. All right, hole number 2. We got it all torn down, moved over here. That was the old spot. Still got the 2 mud pits there. That was a whole lot of slipping around and the thing falling, damaging the tailgate. Luckily, it still latches. Smashed that thing twice now. It's pretty good. Go Toyota. I actually checked the RPM on the auger I'm using, and at the low end it's like 160, and at the high end at full throttle it's like 360. So I mean, that's kind of too fast for what I need. But I mean, if it's just chewing sand and clay and silt and stuff like that, I mean, whatever, it'll chew. It seems a lot more promising with the drilling through with that auger. It just screwed right into the ground nice and easy. So if not there, we'll move it over to another pit behind the camera, and then I tested closer to the house, more sand. I'm hoping there's like a channel here of sand deposit, and hopefully it goes all the way through. But I mean, we don't really know until we get in there. Let's just hope for the best. I've seen people do it, so I guess you just gotta keep trying until we get through. So. Alright, so we drilled 10 feet on the new hole. I just pulled the bit all the way back up for the night, but we went all the way down to that coupling at the plate. Man, that's awesome. So this hole seems to be good. I'll keep continuing here and see how far we can go. Had to deal with this a little, overflowing, losing some water. So I went and filled up more water. Got another 300 liters here. And I'm just trying to see if I can collect some rainwater off the shed roof tonight to keep our pits filled up. Yeah, look at all that sand we pulled out. Pretty exciting. Unfortunately, I lost. Oh man, I forgot about that. Oh man, I must have only had these nuts hand tight, and everything rattled apart, and I lost those down the hole. I found one nut over here, but all of a sudden everything was going smooth, and then it was chattering. And I looked down and those holes were empty, and I'm like, oh my God. But then it got smooth after, so I think it pushed it into the sidewall. That's well above our filter pack, so that should be fine to just live in there forever. But I'm gonna be more careful on that. I think as we're going, I'll have to just, I was always watching my suction hose and checking the drill stem as I went, but I wasn't really paying attention to that. So gotta just keep going as I go. I'll just keep glancing at everything. Every time I stop to fuel or do anything, I'll tighten all the bolts. Just make sure we're all smooth, but we'll get back to it tomorrow. All right, drilling going successfully. We got down about 10 feet yesterday. Only took about an hour. It was just a whole lot of faffing about, messing around with our water. Filled up water, got my tanks all cleaned out as best I could. Gonna fire everything up, see if we can go another 10 feet. I'm just gonna do a drill stem changeover. All right, let's get into some drilling action. Found a good way to mix up the bentonite clay. Oh, great, yeah. Just using this little paint mixer. Mix it in a 5-gallon bucket first. That gets it really slurried up. You wanna make it like a gravy, then pour it in and it mixes in way better. Otherwise it just clumps everywhere, Not too much. Oh, bit of a bummer. We hit more rock. Tried tilting it and going in to see if I could directionally bore around it, but I don't really know what side the rock's on, so I think I'm gonna disconnect things, poke around with the drill bit. Yeah, that's all I can think of right now. Otherwise, we'll just have to start a new hole, but it's working pretty good for all the soft sand and everything. He was even packing some rocks into the borehole sidewall, which was sweet. Got a pretty nice hole here though, but I'm just gonna send this down, see where we're at, and then okay, there's the bottom. So I mean, damn, we're at like 13.5 feet. See if I can show you the borehole here. Like, look at this. I was hoping the water might recede all the way, but can't quite see what's down there. But pretty nice. So hit a bunch of rocks and stuff, as you can see up top, but then down below there it's just probably I mean, that must be where it was pretty soft and sandy, and the bentonite, it's just kind of clayed up. Oh yeah, there it is. See? Got like rocks. Then it's very soft and smooth down there. So that must have been our nice soft layer we drilled through pretty quick. Trying new holes until it goes. All right, we improved this as well. We had some hose clamps on here before. They kept cracking off. I welded some bolts on here. Drilled some holes in some plate. I mean, yeah, that's pretty solid now. We snapped off our coupling on the auger, so I think it was wobbling around too much. I'm gonna have to weld up those wheels again. Maybe add a few things, some little fins that ride in the channel to make it stay straight. Well, we tried drilling a bunch more here today. Moved it back. There was our initial hole, boarded up with the plywood, but maybe I went back a bit too far. I don't know. We didn't even go down about half. So we maybe only made it 5 feet again or something. We were getting bound up on some rocks. So good news is the improvements on the swivel working really good. Those little gaskets I made in there and those bushings and stuff, definitely way less leakage. So that's great. I might go in between these two holes, because I think this is a good zone. Other than that, I'll transfer the water. If I have to come down to here, transfer the water into my sweet little kiddie pools, and then we can make a circulation system with that and keep going. You know, that was a pretty challenging day, but you know, we had to fix a few things. Coupling cracked off at the very top as well while I was drilling really hard. Yeah, learning lots, making improvements. I think we'll get it. It's just a matter of time. I just got to keep trying, and I'll try a bunch of these holes, and if not, I have some more ideas on how to increase the torque and the pressure so that my bit can grind through rock. So that's we'll see if we got to go to that point. But we do have some options there, and I mean, that would be pretty fun to try. It's just going to be a lot more work to set up. So yeah, still stoked on it. We'll keep going. You know, some days are just a lot of hard work and not much happening, a bunch of things going wrong, but you know, we'll keep at it. Well, I'm not going to be able to show you, but you can see there's no water in our borehole, in the trench. I thought this might happen. Unfortunately, I mean, we're drilling in between two holes. That's the existing one. That's down 13 feet. I thought maybe that'd be risky of it collapsing and leaking fluid. And I mean, I thought it'd be far enough away and it would create its own borehole. But yeah, not even like 2 feet in, it carved out underneath and I can see it leaking fluid into here. Oh, I went and filled up water twice, just basically wasted like almost 200 gallons of water. So I'm gonna have to, it's not that far down, so I'm gonna try to go get an 8-inch ducting metal pipe so I can shove that in there to seal that up. And then hopefully that'll just send our water up through here and we can bypass it. Oh boy, well, been really bashing my head against this, trying to get it going. I put a whole bunch of bentonite in here. I tried to put this 8-inch ducting, smacked it down in there to seal it up. That worked pretty good. You know, the water was full up to the top. I just bucketed water in, tested it. Had a whole bunch of bentonite slurry in there. As soon as I started drilling, I guess it loosened up below that metal and then just started leaking again immediately. So the water level just sits right there and there's a gap somewhere higher in it, higher than that, and I can't seal it. I don't know how to do that. You know, everything else is working. I added these, I don't know if I can show you. I got some of these little rail pins and some angle iron just as little stabilizers, and then I kind of added another one here. Yeah, I kind of added another one there just to like, because this thing was going like this quite a lot. It was tipping a lot and getting buck wild, so that smoothed it out a lot. Everything, this new coupling I did, that snapped off because it was basically all slag. There wasn't even really much weld on there. So I cut a new piece of pipe, cleaned this all up, and then I actually welded as I was rotating it after I tacked it. And that seemed to, you know, I got some pretty good beatage there. I was trying to do a little bit of back and forth on the rod as well, up and down, to spread it out, and I went really slow to pile it up. It was getting nice. That thing was red hot, so we should be better there now. That should be pretty strong. Yeah, so I think that's kind of a losing battle. I'm gonna try to lift this guy up on some 6x6 skids, make a little frame, little timber frame, so that we can drag it around. And then we actually choked up on it and winched it, and it's pretty good. You know, we just have one person making sure it doesn't really tip over just to support it and wrestle it around. But if you have like a 600 to 2,000 pound winch, like you can just drag it nice and easy. So at least that's nice to maneuver it around. Luckily my neighbor had one of these 8-inch PVC pipes, about 6 feet long, so we pounded that down into the hole first. Try to stop that 2-foot down leak that I had. It was kind of working, but look, you can see it going down, I think, here. Ah, man, yeah. We're making progress, so I'm gonna just stick to this spot. We'll just have to keep getting water and mixing up bentonite and keep it going. All right, we're full of water in our sweet little kiddie pool. Pit's full of water, bladder full of water. Let's see if we can go another 10 feet. A little bit. There we go, yeah. Oh, what? I got 2 ends on here. Oh, man. What? Oh. Goes this way then. Come on, baby friend. Okay. Yeah, it looks like it's doing okay. You know, nice and easy. I've only been running the pump on its lowest. And it's enough to just keep pushing all this sand out here, so that's been awesome. All right, there's the bottom. Let's see, how does it sound? Oh, not good. Going around in a circle here. Jesus. Don't think we're getting through that easily. I was hoping we were just on the edge of one I could chisel away, but that's a whole thing. Oh boy. Okay, well, we've tried, I think, a total of 6 or 7 times. a couple times in the same hole. Was able to get down to like about 13.5 feet on these two holes right here. But then we hit rocks. So I tried to put a little bit of, I used a little 600-pound boat winch to just try to put some down pressure on it and keep the throttle nice and steady, but I mean, the bit's just bouncing over these rocks. To maybe try to chisel it, if I could make some extensions, maybe get a big chisel down there, or I'm debating getting some 6-inch pipe, maybe trying to cut some teeth into it and harden it and see if we can just use percussion. Yeah, so that's kind of where I'm at. I guess we'll think about it a bit. We'll put this video out there so you can see the attempts and how it's been going. But we at least got the rig maneuverable now. We can drag it around with a winch, and it's actually pretty stable. I might drag and move everything over to here because I'll show you. I mean, there's a bunch of boulders here you can see, but they're on the surface. But then, you know, I drilled through here with the auger just a bit, and this was all nice and sand. That there, all nice and sandy. But I mean, so were those holes. So now I don't know anything. Learning as I go, you know, just figuring things out. I've put a bit of research into it. There is an old shallow well that's about 12 feet deep already, but it never had water in it, so we don't know for sure if that's what the previous people were using. We tried to dig it out, and it looks like they just dumped a bunch of metal pans and a bunch of garbage in there, I guess, when they left, so that's unfortunate. I think I'd have to dig down there to get past all that stuff probably first, otherwise the drill bit will just be like catching on metal pieces of stuff. Treasure, we call it. Yeah, all in all, feeling a little bit more rested. I think I just needed a little bit of a break. Think things through a little bit, and then yeah, see how you guys like it. Looking forward to all the comments. We'll get back to it soon. Yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next one.